Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is Dr. Subramanian Swamy on an interesting development in a defamation case that was brought about by Karthi Chidambaram against Dr. Swamy. And to know all about this and more, let's welcome Dr. Swamy. Dr. Swamy, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskaram to you. And I'm fine. I'm fighting fit.
Yes, indeed, sir. You look younger by the day. And viewers, there has not been and there never will be a corruption crusader like Dr. Swamy. I'm going to unequivocal. I'm going to say this thing because there is so much of a body of work that he has done that you just cannot beat it. And for many of these things, he has not even taken a pie. He spent his own personal money to do this thing because the nation comes first. Some of you don't seem to understand this and make some comments. I'm just trying to tell you guys that there are other aspects and dimensions to Dr. Swamy, and you need to understand why he is considered in such great esteem by anybody that you come across. Sir, I don't have to do Mukhastuti, sir. I'm just saying all this because this case is a fit case where you can see the desperation of a certain individual that an Indian registered company having a fully owned subsidiary in Singapore. That Singapore company is a fully owned subsidiary of the Indian company, and the Indian registered company has an Indian, and then this Indian sees it fit to sue another Indian, meaning you, in a court in Singapore. And if you start doing a little bit more digging, you see some very interesting things. For example, there is one individual by the name of Chinnabalan Nageswara Reddy. This is the owner of Advanced Strategic Consulting. Except we find it very interesting that Mr. Karthi Chidambaram has a lot of interest in this case. You look at the ownership pattern of this company in India. It is 50% directly under Chinnabalan and then 50% under some other names, all of which, just like all roads lead to Rome, lead back to Mr. Chinnabalan. And now if you go a little bit further, this I haven't verified, but I'm reasonably sure they will have another side letter saying that whatever I make will be given to either Aditi Chidambaram or XYZ or something out of my love and respect for. This is a standard operating procedure of how these people have drafted binamis. Anyway, that is just an observation. Could be right, could be wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to connect some dots here. Now, sir, let's take a look at the case here. This case was initially ruled by a single judge where he said that this case can be fought only in India and it doesn't have any merit to be fought in Singapore. And there are reasons for that. If you look at the capitalization of this company, Advanced Strategic Consulting in Singapore, the capitalization is Singapore dollars 1,001. That is $1,011. Viewers, think about this. How can a company with such a modest operating capital suffer defamation owing to the comments made by Dr. Swamy? And the comments were not made against Advantech. They were not made against Chinnabalan. It was against some other individual. Sergi, my head explodes when I start looking at some of the ways in which this case has been construed. Because as a common person, I mean, I have seen the courts in the United States. I have been dragged into courts because my patents, always people will say, did you really write it? Oh, no. Because they always think that a brown skin is less than somebody else. I'm not going to cry racism here, but that is the fact. It's okay. You deal with it. That's it. So whatever it is, in this case, today, the Supreme Court, okay, so let's get back to that. A single judge bench in Madras High Court set aside this whole thing. They appealed that and went to a bench. And that bench reversed the judgment. Normally, my understanding, Dr. Swamy, is if a single judge bench rules in a certain way, then if the multiple judge bench then overrules it, there must be some very strong reason that they may have uncovered, which would have done it. I don't know what that is, sir. Hopefully, the judgment tells that. I have not had a chance to read that judgment. Now, you appealed against that as an SLP in July 2023. And today, the Supreme Court has granted a stay. Sir, please walk us through what happened and where do things go from here. Over to you, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much. You see, let me also add to some of the details you gave about how this whole thing has been structured. Um, the Advantage Strategic Consulting Company, it was in 2007 that it was set up. And it was set up by a company which was wholly owned by Mr. Karthi Chidambaram. And then he created this subsidiary, this company, and transferred money from something called Osbridge or something like that. He had another company. And then that had one a branch in only one place in the outside the country, and that was in Singapore. And that was, as you pointed out correctly, some small amount of thousand, the 10 or some some small amount of capital, and it did no business. All it did was that anything that the Advantage Strategic Company would in India would produce for the purpose of selling it in Singapore, it would work. Now, the company in India wasn't anyway producing anything, and so in effect, it was not doing any work. The chief director or director general, whatever you call him, was a man called Reddy. He who was of the Indian company was also simultaneously the principal director of the Singapore company. Now, having said that, what happened is I was investigating what was called the Aircel Maxis scam, and connected scam with the 2G. And we found that this company had been laundering money, was using this advantage, these companies for laundering of money, etc. So I held a press conference. And in the press conference, as I usually do, I don't invite foreign because it's an internal corruption matter. So I never invite foreigners. So nobody except Indians were invited. And they were invited by invitation. Then when they came there, I took, had a register, make out the names, etc. And then you see
Sir, you've gone mute. Dr. Swamy, you've gone mute. Dr. Swamy, you've gotten mute. Dr. Swamy, we are not able to hear you. Viewers, we are trying to figure this out. Dr. Swamy, we are not able to hear you. Can you log out and log back in? Sir, we have just we've got a small problem. Uh, Dr. Swami's audio is not coming through. We're trying to come back and reconnect again. Just wait with us for a second. Just one moment, please. We'll be back. Hello. I think he joined from his phone, and sometimes if there's a phone call that comes in while he is connected, this kind of thing can happen. I'm going to try and get him back. Just wait with me for 1 second, please. Yeah, there you go. Not yet, sir. I'm hearing here. Are you connected with this? No, you're on the phone, computer, right? Is it this phone? Okay. So I'm going to hang up this, and then hopefully it will transfer over to that. Let me see. I'm just going to hang up this call. Okay. Say something, sir. Dr. Swamy, can you say something? Log out and come back again, sir. Log out and come back in again. Just 1 second, sir. I'll Apologies, guys, while we figure this out. We're still trying to get connected with Dr. Swamy. Clearly, there is a small issue. He was joining the conversation with the phone, and I think a phone call came in, and that disrupted his audio. And we are trying to figure that out. Just hang with me for 1 second. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. So we can hear you. Sir, you have to start back from when I had given you the cue because I lost you fairly quickly after that.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
let me start by saying that in 2006, Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, the son of P. Chidambaram, who's presently a member of parliament, he
Oh, same thing happened, sir. We got muted again. Hello? 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 You got muted again. Sir,
Can you hear
before we
now?
continue, yeah, yeah, sir, you did something, you swiped something and then it became mute. What was it, sir?
I don't know. I mean, whatever it said, enter. So I would do that. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Okay, let's
So
see how
just
far
ignore
we
that.
get. All
Yeah,
right.
just
So
ignore that.
make it very short now.
Yeah, yeah.
Created a company in Singapore. So I held a press conference in which I said that this is has hardly any money, and the Singapore company has only $1,000 or something. What is the meaning of claiming that he is now engaged in great international commerce and so on? And in fact, he was hoping to get licenses and things like that. Now, on that press conference, which was made only in India and only with Indian press people, because I had a list which I made, and I didn't certainly was not going to allow foreigners, even if it's BBC or
We lost you again. We lost you again, sir. Viewers, we are trying to fix this on the fly. I got in touch with somebody else, and we are going to really try and um, have him rejoin. I'm looking at a lot of vitriol being poured on the message chat window. Viewers, you have to be able to separate a few things. Dr. Swamy has many dimensions to him. I am not talking about the politician that is Dr. Swamy. I'm talking about the corruption crusader that is Dr. Swamy. That's why I introduced this whole thing saying that his crusade against corruption is unmatched, will not be matched in the future, in my opinion, because of the body of work he has done. Let us respect the man for what he has done for us. So many things. Politics is something that is best not dealt with by us here. This is not a platform for that. I keep telling everybody we need to be looking at his brilliance in trying to make sure that despite a loaded deck he can find a way to win. Okay, I'm not casting any aspersions here, but it is that ability that makes him stand apart. It's that ability that makes him be feared by the other political people of India. All the politicians, they are afraid because when he takes up a stand on something, there's usually a reason for that. Look, you may be getting something on the media, but there is something called as truth, and truth usually wins. It might take a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about politics again and again. Let us stay on this particular case, because in this case, you have an Indian company suing an Indian individual in a different country, and the incident happened in India. So there are some glaring holes, and yet the one party continues to want to try and fight it out in a higher court. And if the single bench said one thing, they want to try with a multiple judge bench. These things are delaying tactics, but underlying, there was really no case to take this case to Singapore. That is the whole point. I mean, that's how it looks to me. I mean, there are many ways in which law can be dealt with. In this, it seems a little strange that an Indian company would, on an Indian matter, take up the case in a foreign. So they are trying to do, this is a fishing expedition. If you want to, let's try and see if we can throw some mud and see if that mud will stick. These are the things that people try. And this is also could be thought of as a desperation move, that nothing else is working. Let us try this. So Dr. Swamy is just joining us again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You have changed seat, sir. My naman to you, sir. You request, you listen to me, and you change to a laptop so that there will not be any interruptions. So you had us starting at 2006. Viewers, later I'll edit all this part out so that the video will come out crisp. Dr. Swamy, you started in 2006 about a press conference, and you said why you kept foreign press out or only Indian press. From there, let's start, sir.
Yeah. So the allegation made subsequently is that I defamed him in defamed the company and its officials, Karthi Chidambaram, etc., in Singapore, because there was a website which had picked up my press conference and shown it in that island. Now the thing is that no one knows of this website, and no one has seen it. So without even presenting evidence that the so and so saw it and he's the witness in the case, etc., none of that. They sent me a warrant, or not a warrant, a summons to come to Singapore to the court to face the music. Now, first of all, Singapore is a place where there's a heavy influx of LTTE, and I am under Z security, and Singapore government doesn't allow me to bring my security with me. I have about 16 officials police officials who are there in my house. You have come to my house, you have seen they're all built barracks and so on. So therefore my going to Singapore didn't arise. So I made a public statement that I'm ready to argue the matter in India, but obviously the Chidambarams don't think India is a safe place anymore. And so they continued. So therefore, I went to the Madras High Court with a single judge bench, and he heard me in detail, and he gave a beautiful order. I mean, it's a very, very well reasoned order, and on that basis, it was clear that this is a matter which is fundamentally and mainly of a matter arising in India, and all the facts are available here, and all the documents are available here, and moreover, the employees of the Advantage Strategic Company are the same as that in Singapore. So for their protection, this is equally important. The press conference was done in Delhi. You can have it in Delhi or you can have it in Madras, because it was spread all over India. So it could be held in Madras. Now he didn't want to hold it in Madras. So and he didn't want to hold it in Delhi. And then in Madras, because the question, I had to, create the necessary infrastructure for it, which I had ready in Delhi. So now suddenly this question comes up, that a notice comes to me that I have to turn up on such and such day in the court so and so in Singapore. So I went to court, and the single judge of the Madras High Court heard it. And it was, a very detailed thing. He said, nothing doing, this has to be heard in India. Now, they went in appeal to the Madras High Court, division bench. And that time, the judge was someone from Delhi. And he, in fact, very clearly said to the lawyer of Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, that you have no chance in this. I will dismiss it. But if you still want to argue with me, I'm ready to hear it. But then Corona came, and the judge was also transferred to Delhi, and he became in the Supreme Court. He came to the Supreme Court. So finally, when it appeared to them that I'm having a quarrel with Prime Minister, and then I had already got Sonia Gandhi on bail, and so there was a lot of hatred against me in those circles. So I think they decided to activate this, and so I had to therefore, and they went in appeal to the Madras High Court after almost 5-6 years later, after the single judge had given the order. Now, in Madras High Court, all that I argued it doesn't show up in the judgment at all. And he says, no, balance of convenience is to go there, and I must go there. So I came to Supreme Court. Now, of course, Mr. Chidambaram, P. Chidambaram always prided on how much control he had over the Supreme Court in India. It is in his private conversation. But times have changed, and now the judges have become tougher and tougher and more independent. And so it went before, and today they said to the advocate for the Advanced Strategic Company, what is your difficulty in doing this in India when everything is here? The statement was made there, you are Indians, they are Indians, that sort of thing. But they were adamant that no, the people in Singapore are very upset and so on. So the court said, okay, we'll hear the whole matter, and till that time, stay order. And now it's a question of whose mortality is quicker. But this court will take this matter may take a lot of time for completion. Although, in my opinion, if they did it quickly, I would, on the basis of the arguments, the order of the court, I think they have no chance at all, and they never had any chance. This kind of what is called in America they call it icing cool or something like that. There's some phrase for it. The Supreme Court of America. So this is a way of chilling somebody, the chilling effect, as it's called. And they think that all these expenses that I would have to incur, leave alone the security problem, but that I would be perhaps come to them and beg them for mercy to forgive me and so on. But they were living in in dreams which were absurd. So decided to fight it out, and so it had been being argued for the last 1 year almost. And today the court said, okay, we'll now hear the whole matter, but we are going to impose a stay. eh, And the next hearing they are fixed for 10th of August. Now, Mr. Chidambaram's lawyers or chosen lawyers decide to fight it. Nobody can enjoy it more than me. As you know, how many court cases I have fought and won. Even Jet Malani, Arun, Ramkrishna Hegde. I mean, I can give you at least 26 defamation cases I won and were filed against me and I won. So this is another, but it's a waste of time. I mean, Chidambaram is now politically dead. He has been to jail 106 days on the Aircel Maxis matter, and he's about 7, 8 other cases pending. He's totally now at the mercy of Ms. Sonia Gandhi and so on. You know, the thing is that he's no more in a position to strut around. In fact, there are all kinds of rumors today that he wants to join the BJP. So I would be surprised if that happens, but welcome. Yeah.
Dr. Swamy, my hope is that once this case is resolved, then the law gets settled in such frivolous complaints. And then going forward, because there are going to be many such cases, viewers, where people have opened some subsidiaries and then just to create trouble for you, they go through the subsidiary and try to sue you in a different country. You know, once the law gets settled on that, right, with a bench, then what happens is there is going to be, at least this avenue is closed out. See, what happens is you have done the crime. Let us assume that they have done the crime, because whatever is the crime in this case has been borne by the ED's findings, the CBI's findings. These people, whatever Dr. Swamy has alleged in that said press conference, has been ratified by the government agencies. You really don't have a case.
That's right.
So still, when you are done like this, when you're fully cooked, you still want to persist because you want to try to slow down somebody. Well, that's all okay. That is the individual's choice. Whatever happens, at least I'm hoping that this will get done quickly so that the law gets settled in India, that if you have these kind of conditions, because, and I can bet my bottom dollar that many such things will have similar things where the subsidiary in a different country will be completely owned by the same people who have the original company. But that's how you have control, guys. This is very simple. This is very simple. It is just that's how you have control. Otherwise, you will not have control. So you do these things. So I'm hoping that that's where these things will end. Viewers, I am a little disappointed by some of your comments. Really, we are an intellectual channel. P Gurus is an intellectual channel. If Mr. Chidambaram wants to come and make his case here, I will hear him out. I've already given the floor to Mr. Digvijay Singh, who thought he said some things on the channel. I will not go into that. Christine Fair, a known India baiter, has been on my channel. You have to listen to everybody. I'm not asking you to make any decisions. You have to listen to everybody. That is how, you know, this Sanatana Dharma is all about tarka. When does tarka come? When both sides have made their observations. I'm just, you know, telling some comments, very nasty comments coming across, Dr. Swamy. I just want to tell people, listen, you have to listen to both. And if Chidambaram joins BJP tomorrow, then he's all okay then? His 106 days stay in jail, of sending Amit Shah outside of, keeping him outside of Gujarat, putting him in jail. It looks, I think he was in jail for 100 days or something like that. So there was an extra 106 days here. You put me in jail for 100 days, I'll put you in jail for 106 days. It is just something like that. Whatever the politics, I'm not really concerned. I'm more concerned about the system needs to clean itself up. And I'm hoping that one such loophole, possible loophole, is cleared by this. Sir, I have one or two questions from our viewers. If you don't mind, we can... So let's take these questions. First question is from Sridhar Vishwanathan. He wants to know, why file a defamation case in Singapore? Exactly, our question too.
Yes. See, if I had submitted to Singapore thing and gone there, it'd be an enormous expense. Second, I wouldn't know the law there. I mean, I know Indian law. I can go to an Indian, any Indian court and not have an advocate. But there I'll have to have an advocate. And in Singapore, because most of these cases, defamation cases and so on, are essentially for commercial companies, and they pay their lawyers huge amounts. So I won't even get a lawyer unless I pay in $1 million, you see. So the whole idea, then there is this issue that I will have no security. And so my physical position would be very awkward. See, so I think that they thought that probably that all will intimidate me to come and smoke the pipe
Drop
with
the
them
ball.
or something.
Yeah.
But they
Thank
don't
you,
know
Vipin
me.
Chandok.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vipin Chandok, for that membership.
Yes, he's
Rohit
become-
wants to know, sir, why has he not been able to
Uh-huh.
finish the National Herald case? Just asking. Dr. Swamy,
Why
no
not,
conversation. Sir,
National
no
Health case
conversation
is
with.
now multi-level.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's
Go
it's
ahead.
outside the top. I'll
Yes.
answer it because it is a malaise in our society. See, in the case of the National Herald case, it's now in the final stages where the trial has to start. And there are some technical issues on which I had to go to the High Court for it, and that should be over in March. But the real delay is the fact that the government of India launched a income tax raid and came out to show how they have been cheating the income tax on this National Herald matter. Then there was a question of money laundering, where they went to the black market and got the money for their transactions. So there are a number of other things which are income tax, of course, as I already told you, and this, and there are other factors, cheating and so on, which other agencies of the government are doing. So there is a delay, but I will say, considering that I began it in 2013, I don't think with the kind of battery that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi came to the court, a 10-year, 15-year, or 20-year is a very thing. But she's on bail, and she would have gone to Chidambaram went to jail for 106 days. Sonia Gandhi and Rahul would have gone, but I was the one who told the court not to, because in the Chidambaram goes, nobody is going to come to TR jail to look for him. But if these two go, then the Congress party is obliged to come and set up bhajan mandalis around TR jail and make a royal mess of the whole thing. And it's better that they are on bail, because for even a small thing like traveling abroad, they have to have a court case, the court to convene, and I have to be asked. And last time when Rahul Gandhi wanted to go, he wanted 10 years passport. And I said, no, he should get only 1 year. But the court said, why not 3 years? So instead of the usual citizens getting 10 years, he got only 3 years. So, and then he has to report where he went, where he didn't go, etc. And that these are all these humiliations, which just because they had this greed for a newspaper company, which they were not going to run. They have not run it at all. So this is the thing where a lot of time is consumed, and people don't understand. They say, no, they want. Why didn't it happen? Of course, I would say there have been blockages imposed on me, and that I don't want to mention because that will take me far afield. But I would say that the case is still very much there, and on March 18th, the matter is again coming up in court. And the newspapers also nowadays don't publish the proceedings of the case. So people don't know. So there are many other factors which make it look as if it's taking a very long time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swamy. And as always, a pleasure having you on our channel, sir. Truth will win. It just takes time. We are living in Kali Yuga. And if I tell you some of the stories that, Dr. Swamy can be a very patient man. I can tell you that also. A lot of the stuff that doesn't see the light of day, cannot be shared because, that's the way it is. Just take my word for it. And you, by putting out your bile here, I mean, I'm just disappointed. I run an intellectual channel for intellectuals so that they can understand this. Thank you so much, Dr. Swamy, and may more power to you, sir. This is going to fail, and the real deal about 2G is going to come out, and the real villain in 2G is still roaming free. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.